Our topic for today is the impact of COVID-19 on the Indian cement industry. And what can be an appropriate time than today when we had core sector results announced yesterday for March 2020. The objective of today's webinar is to bring together the stakeholders from leading cement companies, the top industry associations, and the government to address the critical challenges this vital industry faces during the current lockdown and through the difficult weeks and months ahead. Let me now introduce our fantastic panel today. We have with us V.R. Sharma, Managing Director, Jindal Steel and Power Limited. Mr. Sharma has an extensive experience across multiple cross-sector industries, including steel, power, cement, and mining. He has worked both in India and abroad. Extremely passionate for steel, he has spent more than 35 years in the industry, bringing in transformational changes across various companies. Our second panelist is Mahendra Singhi, Managing Director and CEO, Dalmia Cement Bharat Limited. Mr. Singhi is a leading voice in the Indian cement industry and has played an instrumental role in the growth and development of the cement sector in India for the last 41 years. He has been recognized as one of the 5 climate defenders by BBC in their Climate Defender series broadcast in November 2019. Mr. Singhi also serves multiple organizations and commissions in India and abroad. It's our pleasure to have him with us on today's panel. My next panelist is Ms. Lopamudra Sengupta. She is Vice President Technical Services at JSW Cement. Lopamudra has more than 25 years of experience in the cement and construction industry. She has worked for leading cement companies in India and also an active member of BIS Committee, Indian Concrete Institute, and Indian Road Congress. We then have from Niti Aayog, Mr. R. Sarvanabhavan. He is Deputy Advisor Minerals in Niti Aayog since 2012 and has been associated with the formulation of policies of mineral sector and research-oriented issues. He brings with him an extensive experience of regulation and development of minerals across various regions in the country while working at Indian Bureau of Mines. And finally, we have Dr. Vivekanand Mohapatra, Director General, National Council for Cement and Building Materials. Dr. Mohapatra has extensive experience across a number of research organizations and cement companies. He is also a member of various technical committee of BIS and chairman and cement sector committee of Bureau of Energy Efficiency. It's my pleasure to have all of you on today's panel. Let me now start with some brief background for today's webinar. As we have more than 300 people already joined and continuously joining in from across the country, people working in cement and allied industries. I'm sure you'll be looking for ideas from our industry leaders that can help you guide on the front line. I believe you're also keen to hear about the ways we can all work together through this period to ensure Indian cement industry survives the current crisis and thrives on the other side. Before I hand over to our panelists, let me share an important framework we have developed at Canvey Consulting over the last month that has been particularly helpful for organizations and leaders managing the current crisis. We believe leaders can create structure and bring clarity by thinking and acting in parallel around 3 time horizons. These 3 horizons are firstly managing under the present lockdown, secondly crossing the chasm of low demand which cement industry will face in the coming months, and thirdly taking a new road to transform your business to succeed in what will be very different world post-COVID. By allocating mind space and resources to these 3 time horizons, we believe cement companies can navigate the current lockdown, withstand the coming slowdown, and successfully seize the new opportunities that will inevitably emerge.
There is, of course, a problem and a challenge of how to bring back the labor. We have suggested to the government that, look, it is very difficult for the small contractors or even the industry to keep on paying to the workers, those who are not coming on duty. So the Shram Mantralaya, the labor department, will have to bring a general notification and advertisement in all local dailies that the workers must return to home by 15th of May. So sorry, the workers must return to their sites by 15th of May. If they return to sites by 15th of May, then by the end of May, all construction activities can start. We should also not think to downsize our companies. We should also not think to retrench our people. We must try to take out as much as possible from the existing team, and wherever the cost optimization, cost competence is required to be done.
India's cement sector is the second largest in the world with almost 550 million ton capacity, which is second to China, and the third largest is USA, which will be having about 80 to 90 million ton capacity. So that way, that much bigger we are from USA. Secondly, we are one of the important sector to contribute in a big way to railways exchequer, overall India's exchequer, and as taxes, we do pay roughly 40,000 crore as GST, having 28% GST on cement. We are also biggest employer, directly and indirectly, for the people, and millions of people are connected with cement sector and construction sector on account of cement and construction being one of the core area. Now, if I look at COVID-19, what it has given to us, what's in positive way, what's in negative way. Though everyone is talking of social distancing, but what we talk is it's a physical distancing. But at the same time, this COVID period has brought and it has improved the social connectiveness through virtual means, through technology. So one of the positive part of COVID-19 has been that it has brought people together. It has again forced people to think about the country. It has forced people also in one way or other to serve the society. Similarly, the way technology can be used in this difficult time, that has come as savior, and that has also helped not only the cement sector, but most of the companies, most of the people, that how efficiently they can work from home and in whatever way they would like to operationalize their businesses, and in respect of cement, and I would say till 20th of April or 22nd of the April. So that has impacted, particularly if I talk of March, first time in the history of the cement sector, it has seen 24.7% drop in March month in regard to demand, which has also impacted overall FY20 demand growth, and it's almost 1% negative demand growth for FY20. That is also giving signals that in the coming months, how things would be. Though all efforts are being made by the government also, by the real estate people also, the construction companies also, as well as also the cement companies, that how each one of us can support construction activities so that the people are able to get the employment, companies are able to chip in their own economic efforts. The cement sector, though having impacted with loss of revenue since 24th March, very low collections from our dealers, as well as continuing demand of the vendors to pay them, still almost all cement plants have paid their workers, their staff up to 31st March. All salaries have been paid for the April also, and I'm sure the all wages to the workers would be paid by 7th, because cement sector is looking at not the immediate term but at short term and mid term. And considering that people are the major force for us, major strength for us, the cement sector has taken a call that we must pay and we must support staff. But at the same time, I think the impact on working capital, impact on liquidity is a one area where definitely support of government would be required so that it cement sector can sail through this area. Now the challenges which we are facing today is one, supply chain workability. So important for us, we have cement stocks in our plants, we have cement stock in our godowns in various parts of the country. But at the same time, the major requirement is how we get the trucks and transporters to take the cement and get it to the consuming sector. I would like to share that in last 7 days, many of the cement companies have done their best efforts and have been able to reach to a level of 20 to 40% of their capacity by delivering the cement to the direct consumer, to the customer side. Similarly, the immediate and fast action taken by the government, particularly the Ministry of NHI headed by Gadkariji, that many of the road projects have already started working, already started consuming cement, have also started giving employment to the people. So that's also positive parts. So we are now looking at how demand would prop up, how government would be supporting, and how government would be continuing their support for infrastructure. You know, the challenge to the government would be if they also come out with some stimulus, some extra stimulus, like the way it is being demanded, that instead of say 0.8 or 1% of the GDP as a stimulus, let it be 5%, 6%, 7%. In that case, there would be bigger fiscal deficit.
What do you see, companies in cement industry can do in the coming weeks and months to bring the business back towards normalcy?
Sure, sure. So looking to the way economy is opening up, looking to the way that in rural areas work has started, and the way now government is allowing the movement of people from one state to other, as well maybe after 10-15 days, the way migrant workers would be brought back from their native place to the working place. I'm sure cement industry may be able to come to a 40 to 50% capacity utilization by June or July. And if that happens, then definitely we'll be better off than what we might have thought. So important would be for the government, one, to continue to put in more money for infrastructure, at the same time to support real estate also, so that the construction goes on, so that it supports all type of sectors, just not the cement and steel. And third, let cement industry also take all care the way they are taking in regard to saving their people, in regard to health, in regard to the safety. And the cement industry has contributed in a big way on PM Care Fund, have contributed in a big way to providing meals to the people, as well as to provide PPEs and various other equipment for the medical fraternity to take care of the people. So I'm sure Now with the starting of moment, the trucks will start moving. There is no dearth of cement in any cement plant. All cement plants are ready to deliver and rise to the occasion. So I can assure you on behalf of Indian cement sector also, as well as from Dalmia Cement, that we all are ready to serve the society, serve the country.
So we see almost washed away April 20, cement demand was not there. People were not there in construction sites. They were closed. But we expect certain better performance in May with the construction sites opening up, road projects starting. Demand should have a slender rise in Q2 with better recovery in Q3 and a normal Q4. Because what we feel, the growth path cannot stop. And as and when the things normalize, we will be back to business as usual with the proper health and safety norms, but the construction work will go on. It is expected that all the migrant construction laborers, they are going to now their home locations. There is a kind of migration from the other states. And once they are going to be there in their residential cities and towns for 2 to 3 months, at least, as is their tendency. And the return to urban area and construction sites will be a challenge. But we envisage here the ready mix concrete industry to come up in a big way, because people are not going to stop construction, and ready mix concrete industries in B and C category cities. So this is a big opportunity for the ready mix industries. And work from home concept now coming in, and not to mention the unsold inventory for up to 1 year, and some places in NCR we see up to 4 years in Noida and all these places. However, no major impact we see in road sector, and road construction both in rigid and flexible pavement will continue in both urban and rural roads, as we were discussing during the first session. The rural impact due to PM's focus on self-sufficiency of rural area, major government funding in rural infrastructure development is expected to do. So panchayat level working, block level working in the areas which are orange and green are expected to start. And agricultural, we had a good harvesting season. So the growth in COVID-free zones will start first and impacting more and more cement demands, especially as and when the time goes. So
Since it started on 24th March, what kind of decisions or step you took, which you find very valuable to manage during this lockdown?
yeah. So, sir, this is indeed a very valuable question from us, because we would like to share what are the steps JSW Cement had taken. So, during this lockdown scenario, we had connected to our channel partners and our influencers, which are the engineers and masons and contractor in the remotest location. And we were able to identify the need for basic items like food, clothing, and medicine. So many masons, once their livelihood had gone, it was so sad to see, they had converted into selling of vegetables. So giving of food to them, the giving of daily groceries and medicine to them was something which we did on priority. So how we went about that? So pan India, we are having our cement care vans. So we converted them into our relief vehicles, and they were fully utilized. We are present in southern part, western part, and eastern part. They were fully utilized with the permissions getting from administration level. They were going and they were giving relief to the people who really needed the food, the medicines, the clothing items, and everything. The masons and daily wagers and the channel partners, they utilized it in a big way. So along with that, platform of telephonic connect with the doctors located our plant locations was created for our engineers and channel partner, offering them the opportunity of seeking medical attention on need basis during this challenging scenario, because people cannot go to the hospital. So how do they go about it? So in a dedicated manner, our hospital and our premises, they were giving over the phone and over the webcam and over Zoom call the consultations, and the medicines we were dispatching to our people. Each employee had contributed 1 day gross salary to PM Cares Fund, and as we see, we were very proud to be associated with that. We also had offered a helpline to our employees and their families, because there are aged parents and senior, for psychological support, because this is a very trying time. People staying in home and they don't know what is going to happen. So the helplines were opened for psychological support. Along with that, how do we utilize the TRIME Max? Development and implementation of a number of e-learning modules and training programs and webinars for capability building of our internal teams took place, and every day was a daily learning process.
There is a need to redesign the way we will operate in day-to-day activities through innovation and research. Efforts should be made for digitizations and remote operation of industrial facilities and for alternate ways of working. The impacts of pollution are felt much more by the poor than the rich. The low carbon transition can be accelerated with good policy design and strong innovation. I would like to recall the Paris Agreement of December 2015, which aimed to limit the rise in global temperatures in this century to less than 2 degrees centigrade above pre-industrial levels. By adopting state-of-the-art technological interventions, innovative production techniques, and climate-resilient resource optimization measures, cement manufacturers in India are integrating sustainability within their growth aspirations. The Indian cement industry has adopted low-carbon technology roadmap, which includes increased use of multi-component blended cement, availability of waste utilization as alternate fuel and raw materials in cement industry, energy efficient technology resulting in reduction in energy consumption, use of renewable energy and waste heat recovery, carbon capture and utilizations.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Mahapatra, and thank you all the panelists for the great ideas and the positivity you all have brought around reviving the cement industry and make it thrive in the post-COVID world. Let me quickly summarize what all we have discussed today. There is a big hit on the Indian cement industry with the demand going down by almost 25% in March 2020. But there is a lot of positivity in the industry leaders as well as the government and industry organizations. By working together, they can sail through this tough time and can make cement industry an engine of growth for India. I think three types of themes and ideas which have emerged from our conversation today. And the first one of them is that as the lockdown gets lifted progressively, how do we create the protocols in the factories, offices, and movement of people so that they are safe, but we are able to work with them in a way that the future revival happens. And Mr. Singhi highlighted that social distancing is perhaps a misnomer. It should be physical distancing. Actually, there has been more social connectedness through virtual meetings. The second point which has come up is that the government is willing to give a patient hearing, and if the industry can come up with 5-6 top issues to sail through this crisis, then both the government and industry can work together. And finally, we see a lot of insights on use of digital, making it a low carbon footprint industry, and protecting the labor by the industry to power it across these tough times. I thank you very much, gentlemen and lady, to join me and ASSOCHAM in this 1 hour interesting conversation. And I thank ASSOCHAM to bring all the leaders together for this very, very interesting conversation. Thank you very much.